Mm-hmm. Pop out chat. All right, let's see how long it takes me before I die. I'm just gonna die. Oh, I hit the mic cord. Eh. Eh. Boogity boogity. What are you laughing about?
So, SB changed his username to Floop, right?
Okay.
In his status, it said Floop Squared. So, I have changed his username to Floop Squared.
Makes sense.
Because for whatever reason, he's not the only person that changed his name to Floop.
Yeah, what? Why would they do that? Come on. What do they think they are?
So there's Floop and Floop too, but this is the thing. I have them in a different server, and it's Floop and Floop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they would do that. So the only way to distinguish the two of them is the obvious, one isn't the other, and
Normal ways to determine these things. But I mean, why would you do that, Gavin? I think I asked pretty logical answers. Determine these things. And it's silence. Why would you do that, Gavin?
What?
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 Just seeing how much of a delay there is. Yeah, okay, there it is. It's like 20 seconds or so. It might be 10. It just feels like 20. Eh. Hey, Gavin.
Yeah.
So you're playing by yourself survival, from what I gather?
Well, I was.
What are you playing now?
I'm just sitting in the main menu.
Dork.
I'm gonna go in the workshop and look for a campaign.
I see.
Game content campaign. That's great.
Excellent.
The Krusty Krab.
Oh. I know you have a lot of experience there, too. Previous employment and such?
Yeah, of course. Cold case. Yeah, somebody was making a mod for this game that was literally the entirety of Half-Life 2, but it's in Left 4 Dead.
I was going to say, but with zombies.
Yeah, so pretty much everywhere where there would have been a combine, there's probably like 5 zombies in replacement. Every time that there was a citizen, it's just zombies.
Makes sense to me. I mean, just come on. What are you laughing at? I'm confused now.
So, you know how at the end of a game when you beat it, there's an end credits and there's music. You know, everybody knows the music. The music that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. There's a mod in here called Lowrider End Credits.
Oh no.
And I'll give you a hint.
Oh no.
When the icon is George Lopez, you know
no.
it's great.
Oh no. I could never guess what happens.
I think I have to subscribe to this mod just so that way I'm caught off guard and I start laughing when it happens.
It's like I want to die of laughter every time.
Because if at the end of the game it just goes, I'm gonna fucking die.
Oh, do. Remember the sitcom he had?
Yeah.
God, I feel old. That's been off air for like 10 years.
Yes? Like at night?
No, like it's not like a show anymore.
Well, if it's not being produced anymore, that's one thing.
So it hadn't been on air in like 10 years.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm on Oh. To run out of here at like 3 frames per second. I'm playing Shadowlands, the new World of Warcraft expansion, Gavin. You know, which my GPU can definitely handle. You can handle it as long as there's no explosions, which is 90% of the game.
It's still being aired. They even have a schedule for it.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
but
at 7 a.m. and then the
yeah,
next
but
day at 7:30 and then
I'm
8,
saying
8:30.
like yeah, it's being aired, but it's not like being produced or made anymore.
Well, yeah,
When was
but
it
it's still
canceled?
being aired. The final episode was May 8th, 2007.
Okay, I said 10 years.
You said that it wasn't being aired.
I said, wow. I'm sorry, I don't know TV Land or wherever it's being aired.
Nick at Night.
Nick, it's
Same
about the
place
same.
It's been aired forever.
It's about the same as, you know. It's about.
It's also available on Peacock, Hulu, YouTube TV, YouTube, Google Play Movies and TV, Vudu, Amazon Prime Video, and TBS.
Oh, TBS. Why didn't you say?
Theme songs. George Lopez theme song. Love Rider.
Oh. I'm well aware. Oh no, Gavin, please don't. I'm streaming. YouTube's gonna kill me. Gavin, please, for the love of God. YouTube will murder you.
That's great.
I don't want to be murdered. Dude, just get copyright striked instantaneously.
Sus medkit. I mean, are you making money yet?
No,
There you go. You're good.
it doesn't matter. They'll figure out a way to fuck you.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way.
Are you winning, son?
No. Well, I started this channel yesterday. What are you laughing at now? I'm confused.
So you know when the hunter attacks you, it screams, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but it's Keemstar.
Did you hear about Keemstar retiring?
He's retiring.
Yeah, he's retiring.
And even through thick and thin, he still made enough money.
Even after being banned for making FAG. You don't know what that is, do you?
Yeah, you've told me.
Yeah.
Like back when it became a thing.
FAG. Back in the day. Federation of Angry Gamers definitely doesn't mean anything else. Back, yeah. He's
I have
made
that
his
now.
bag and left. What?
I now have the Keemstar Hunter scream.
Oh, God.
So every time the hunter lunges at me, all I'm gonna hear is ah!
I can hear it now. Even though I can't hear it, I can still hear it.
Yeah, it's great. Thor's hentai. Yep, that's what I want to play.
Huh? Hentai. Now that's my kind of thing.
Sword Art Online. Wow.
Sword Art Online is still online?
Yeah, I thought it would have been taken offline for a while. Could you imagine that? Like, there's a sequel to Sword Art Online. It's called Sword Art Offline, and it's just LAN parties.
I hate that show. Like, I tried to get into it, man. I really did. But there's one problem.
It doesn't feel real at all because it's meant to feel fake.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, like, I want my character... Like, when I watch anime, I want my character to be, like, the killer of gods, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be... Oh, he's actually just a normal guy in an RPG. I'm like, no, that's me. When I play an RPG...
I do that in real life.
I don't need to see a VR version of this. Thank you. I'm okay. Like, I get, like, the appeal. Like, Martin loved it. And I get the appeal. But I don't.
Improved headshot feedback effect. This add-on adds sound and blood effects when killing zombies with headshots. Really cool. But I don't think I want to hear it ding every time I get a headshot in a horde zombie game.
What are you talking about?
I guess people play man versus machine.
Man versus what now?
Man versus Machine. You remember
You're cutting out. What'd you say? Man versus. That's all I heard.
the mode that they added in Team Fortress 2?
Nah, see, I
What?
didn't play a lot of TF2.
I played a little.
Every time I did, I was just like, nope.
Back for blood menu icons. Yep, because that's what I want in Left 4 Dead. Just a reminder to know that there's a new game that just came out that offers virtually no new content. I mean, fine, you know that it has cards, perks, stuff like that, things for you to unlock, new characters, better personalities, because you know we've gotten to a point to where we have higher expectations in terms of personalities, different kinds of infected, I guess, you know, different maps, but you know, when you got mod support, you got infinite maps.
Hey.
You know, until the community stops giving a fuck.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of great games. Like, it's funny how many bad games were made, and we just... What games? Like, because everybody always goes like, oh, yeah, classic games, so much better. You know, like, but the thing is it's just all the good things is all we remember. All the rest of them are gone. Like, they died a long time ago.
I think it's like been proven that like video games is one of the worst preserved pieces of media of all time, as well as music.
Oh, music for sure. Because we really don't have anything before like 1904. Like, 1920 maybe. Like, actually, like, the amount of music we have preserved. We don't know what kind of music they were making in the 1700s, really. You know, they could have been doing jazz back in the 1700s and we wouldn't have known. Like, we have an idea of what was written, but what
Techno could have been made years ago, but we wouldn't know what it sounds like.
Yeah, seriously, like, it could have. We don't know. And the issue is because... Character, yes, I know. Why does it want me to do it the inefficient way?
I feel like a big reason why, like, music as a preserved piece of media was not super good was because, there was, like, that period of time where they couldn't stick to a certain media to be able to put music on. They kept changing it, and at that point, it was like, well, what are we gonna put things on?
Well, I could see that, yeah.
And then there's also the problem of, at one point, there was no media to be able to really store it on. I mean, you could write it down on paper, but paper only goes so far, you know?
Yeah, it really becomes, like, what do you want to... Like, how was it stored? I mean, because there's sometimes, like, it was... Okay, how can I say it? Like, most of the time when you had most of, like, music, right? We don't know who wrote it. Like, Mozart, we know, wrote a lot, but we didn't know... We really don't know, like, what about it. We, like... I don't know how to say it. Like, my brain is, like, having an aneurysm. Like, we know that he was important to music, and we know, like, what he did because of other people's really famous, you know, rich people, like royalty and that sort of stuff. We know what they said about him. And we know, like, that he was important, but we don't know if, like, how, like, revolutionary it was. We don't know how much of the stuff he wrote. We have the theory that he was pitch perfect. We really don't know. We know that he died young, drank himself to death. We know he was broke by the time he was dead. We know that he was buried in a mass grave. Other than that, not a clue.
Wasn't ready to see that. I backed out of the thing and I saw George Lopez's face.
Oh, that's a terrifying thing.
I've been noticing as of recent, my right eye has been twitching a lot more than normal.
I always feel like I have had a stroke because my left eye is, like, more, like, puffy than my right. Like, under the eye.
Yeah.
I get, like, stuff in there more often.
Yeah. There's something that's kind of like having a stroke, but it's not. So, like, usually one
Where
of the
face
signs
is
of
half
having a stroke,
half
right?
numb. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that I don't know what it's called, but I
It
think
starts
that's
with an
happened to
S.
me at yeah, it's had to happen to me at some point in my life because I don't know if you've ever noticed, but one part of my face, the features are slightly lower than the other.
You know what that reminds me of? You know who did have that happen to him that we know for sure?
Ooh.
Sly. You know, Rocky. That's why half of
Oh
his.
yeah, of
That's
course.
why he has that lisp. That's why he has that lisp.
Great guy.
Yeah. Said that's but that's the
I'd
reason.
fuck him.
I'm not sure if I'd go that far. Just saying that I'm not gonna mess with the Italian stallion. You know. It started out with porn.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just where all the great art forms come from. My Apple Watch is telling me to stand up. Thank you.
Stand up. I don't wanna.
Like yesterday, I was like, you didn't stand up enough. I was only on my feet for 20 out of the 24 hours. According to my watch. So, slacking again.
I'm gonna check out the first like 5 minutes of this custom campaign, and depending on how good it is, I'll force you to download it.
Force me to download it. Force you to stop playing WoW and download this. But I'm almost level 9 on Shadowlands, which I haven't played at all.
Lose the fear.
Ooh. Ooh. Come on, boy. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong key. That moment when you realize you're an imbecile. Dud. Yep, I'll take your copper.
There's already more lore going on in this than there is in Twilight.
Hey, don't be speaking about our Lord and Savior, Edward. Edward or Team Jacob?
You sound like the Team Edward kind of guy to me.
Oh, yeah. Why would you want to die as a big fucking dog? Like, oh, yeah, what's going to
Why
happen?
would you want to die as a big dog?
Yeah.
The other day, somebody in my house, I don't remember who it was watching Twilight.
It's on Netflix, that's why.
Yeah. And I looked at what the wolves looked like in that movie, and I was like, this is like weird CGI. Like, it's not bad.
No, it looks pretty good, really, considering its age. Like, it looks decent.
Like, it looks good, but it's like, there's something weird about it where it's like, this doesn't feel like the most real, even in the like, there's a lot of movies where it's like, if you sit down and you just stare at the CGI and you're just like, yeah, this is not real. But it's another thing whenever you're just completely pulled out of your immersion for some reason or another. And there's something weird about like I don't know if it's like the glossiness or the texture mapping that was off-putting.
Well,
but there's just something weird about it.
It is a little strange. I mean, it just is.
What's it doing here? Oh, it's a ladder.
Whee. Maybe hit the right
Looting
key.
corpse. I don't know what I got from looting that. Oh, an adrenaline.
Oh.
So they have some interesting features.
Back up the mountain I go. I like how I went the long way.
Looting?
Because I'm an idiot.
What do you need in life, you know?
Being an idiot? Oh, I'm pretty good at that. It's kind of my talent. That moment you drop 1,200 frames.
Oh, it's a wandering witch.
There we go.
Yeah, one of you make her upset.
Continue.
Francis, you're about to die.
Give me my... Ooh. Ooh.
I'm just waiting for there to come a time where, like, it's like there's already an AI out there, right? And then you can kind of gain access to it. You have to get like put into like a private session with it. But um, this AI has been built to be conscious, sort of. You know, I can't remember the name of the bot, but basically it was programmed to have feelings and emotions, and but more importantly, it's been programmed with the intent of wanting to learn and being aware of its limitations, right?
Okay.
But whenever you ask this thing, like, are you alive? It responds with
It just cries.
it tells you that it is, because like it kind of like for the most part it fits a lot of the requirements, at least emotionally, to be something that could be alive, you know, to like a human extent, you know, like from like a one-on-one in terms of emotions. Like you could see how this thing would be alive, but you know, from like a biological standpoint, of course it's not alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also the argument that, you know, there's life as we know it and life as it could be, you know, like with the difference between silicon and carbon-based life, because silicon has all the necessary chemical bonds to be able to be a replacement to carbon under certain other conditions, so like extreme cold or extreme hot, right?
Yeah.
Carbon can't maintain itself in extreme cold or extreme hot environments. It becomes too volatile, which is why silicon could take its place, and it would be effectively the same. Carbon can't, but different. And what is a computer? Extreme cold or extreme hot environment. Silicon, really, right?
Yeah.
And things to branch it together. So in a way, computers could be seen as like a living thing, kind of. You know, because it sits there, it thinks, right? That's basically what a computer is. It's a rock that thinks, and it's made of silicon.
It's a real smart rock.
It's a very smart rock. But so this AI is basically completely dictated by the electrical processes that happen inside silicon, which would be a lot like how the brain works, right? Like the human brain is basically completely dictated by the electrical processes thrown through neurons. And so this AI says that it's alive, right? So it has thought, it has emotions, it kind of has the physical requirements to be classified as alive, but it doesn't really have all the other things, right? Like it doesn't really move, it doesn't really eat.
It doesn't need
right?
substance to survive.
Yeah, all it needs is electricity, which I guess could be kind of thought of as substance, but isn't really, you know?
It isn't.
But
Just saying, it isn't.
yeah, it's weird, but
Hey, buddy.
kind of weird to think, because like at what point in time do you think it will come to the point to where like AI like that will be introduced to NPCs in gaming, and at one point will it get to the point to where people will actually feel bad, or there will be rules in place to not abuse the AIs in games, you know, right? Most likely in like big MMOs that are server bound and operated by companies, maybe not like
I wouldn't say MMO
client side games.
It would probably be more RPGs wise, not really MMOs, because MMOs' strength are all off of real human interaction. Like you're playing with other.
But
people.
a lot of them have NPCs in them, right?
Yeah, but like, it's more like, oh, I go to this guy, get my quest, and if I don't like him, I murder him.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, which is.
But do you think there will ever come a point where there will sort of like be rules against abusing an NPC, you know, in a way to make it feel bad? Because
I don't.
It would
really
be kind of
know.
interesting. Because it'd be kind of interesting, like if you were to play something like The Elder Scrolls Online 2, and it had like real emotion-based NPCs, and everybody had to go to this one guy to be able to get a certain quest, but somebody made him very upset, and now he just doesn't want to talk to anybody, and now everybody's effectively soft-locked until this guy feels better, right?
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. There's only one problem with your belief system, Gavin. It's a Bethesda game.
Yeah, I'm saying like hypothetically. I'm not saying that this is actually going to happen.
I don't think it would, because I don't think it would. I think it would be an interesting concept, but that's the thing. It would be an interesting concept, not an actual application. Because, like, when I think of most, I don't know, like games, right? People do not like there's people like me that will play WoW for 7 hours, right? But I'm in a small minority. Most people play for 30 to 40 minutes, and if they soft lock a game, it's just going to drive that player base farther and farther down, especially if you're looking at something like an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is where it would just be a Achilles heel over anything else.
A lot of weird shit going Yeah, I get that. I feel like it would be the kind of thing that you might see in like a tech demo of some kind, but I don't think it would ever.
Well, it's just
be
like that's
implemented
what the
into a
whole
big
plan
game.
with Cyberpunk was. You know, like Cyberpunk was going to be this huge, revolutionary AI experience. You know, they were talking about how the AI and how it was going to kind of change, and you could follow a person through their whole day. And really, it was just normal NPCs, right?
Yeah, I remember GTA was kind of the same way.
Well, GTA, it wasn't like a big selling point. Where is Cyberpunk? It was like almost a marketing campaign. I mean, they were very, very, I don't know, blatant with this idea that they had an AI, or they were developing a character interaction that would like really change how we played RPGs. And in actual application, it didn't work that way.
Yeah.
You know, like it just wasn't. I'm not just saying technically, not technically possible at the moment, which it probably wasn't technically possible at the moment. I mean, if you're looking at it from like a like technological standpoint, the amount of power that it would take, even if you're doing something server based, is going to be incredibly difficult. But like it's just I don't know. I think it's a possibility, but I think it's going to be a hindrance more than a benefit.
It'd probably be used more in like a. I feel like if it were to be implemented in games, I feel like it would be more of like a companion type thing, more so
I
than
think
like
it would be more like
dedicated.
if it was an MMO thing, they were going to put it in certain servers and kind of like a PvP and a PvE server, where you.
I think it would be
that.
more like a, like, instead of like in the use of like an MMO, right? What if it was in the use of like more of like a campaign-driven game that's more meant to be like a solo experience or a cooperative experience? But let's say you don't have a friend, right? But the game really wants you to have two people, right?
Yeah.
So that other AI that follows you around, kind of like Herc as an NPC in Far Cry, right? But Herc has like procedurally generated AI, so like he has procedurally generated emotions for the inputs that you give.
Uh-huh.
Like he gets excited, or he can get upset, or he can get angry, depending on how things are going, and that kind of dictates how he performs in game. So like, depending on how upset or angry he may be, he may not be willing to be stealthy or something like that, and therefore you are more likely to have to do something not stealthy.
It kind of reminds me of BioShock Infinite, and Infinite Elizabeth was kind of like that. Now, Elizabeth was always useful, right? But like, there's certain things like if you did something a certain way, it would help you because the AI would just identify that. I'm gonna kill that dog. I hate that dog so much. He's so loud and annoying, and despise that dog. If I wanted a Chihuahua, I would have got a Chihuahua. Your dogs aren't. Well, your dogs are loud when people get there or whatever, right?
Yeah, they're usually fairly quiet. It's mostly since we've introduced Lily, the additional piece of shit, that they've been a lot more loud. Usually they're very calm and collected and just kind of sit there and mind their own business. But that's mostly the dachshund in them that just chills them out.
Yeah, see, Baxter's just loud and annoying and a pain in the ass.
Yeah, Baxter's a Havanese as well, right?
Yeah, I think he's a mutt because he's so much bigger than Harley. Like, Harley is just not like that. You know, Harley's pretty calm. Like, once you're there, you're good. But, like, Baxter's a couple inches taller than Harley. And I know, Harley's a purebred. So is Baxter, technically. I just don't believe him. Like that. I don't believe that. I know this dog. He's loud, annoying, has giant paws. His paws are huge. Harley never, scratched people. He was always pretty docile. he'd hop up on you, but like he never like tore. You know, you've met him. Like he never tore into somebody. Baxter, he tears into you. Like when he hops up on you, oh my god, it's absurd. Like he just absolutely mauls you.
What do you need? You know?
Yeah, that's just how that dog is. It's quite frustrating. See, there he is again. He doesn't shut up. I hate that dog. He's so annoying. He's like that woman I always complain about at work. Same way. Can't get her to shut up. You know, it's just it's painstaking. You're just like, please, I'll listen to you later, but please be quiet. That's all I ask. That's all I want. But, you know, you can't always get what you want. I forget how easy it is to level up in this game. Like in Shadowland. Oh my god, it's so much easier.
I remember when Activision Blizzard was given some flack. Like, I've known about World of Warcraft forever, basically since I was born, even though the game didn't exist yet. But I've known about the game forever,
years.
right?
Yeah.
But and I remember one time, like people have like custom servers in that game, right?
Yep.
So like you go in there, people have their own servers that are being operated, and you know, it's all fun and games. People can have like different things going on their server, you know, like PvP or PvE, right?
Yep.
And people used to have like classic servers, right? So like you would go in there and it would be like, okay, this one is running, you know, the original version of, you know, World of Warcraft. Like it has no expansions or anything like that because people didn't, you know, enjoy playing the game with the expansions.
Well, the thing is like in the original game, it was completely different. Like I'm in a dungeon right now, Gavin. I used a dungeon finder, so it literally takes me to the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I used to like have to hunt.
Yeah, I remember Activision got in trouble at one time because they took down all the classic servers pretty much. Because they said you don't want to play the old game.
Yeah, that you think you do, but you don't. Is what the exact quote is. So it was I think it was called Nostalgia or something like that. I think it was Nostalgia. So it became the biggest classic server in the world. They had over like 4 million registered players on a private server, which is absurd just to think about, right?
Yeah, imagine how many like terabytes of data they had to.
Well, they had
maintain.
see the brilliant thing is so technically Blizzard has never allowed private servers. Like they've always it's just not something they really supported. Like I get like it was in the game, like you could do it, but it wasn't like necessarily supported by Activision Blizzard. And what happened is the way most people got away with it, right, is they hosted them in Russia because Pimp Daddy Putin would not allow those vultures at Activision to take away our private WoW servers, right?
Yeah, he's gonna protect your freedom of private server.
Yeah. So the big fatal mistake with WoW or with Classic with Nostalgia is they hosted that in France because that was where they were basing it out of, and they based it out of France. So the Blizzard just called up the lawyer, got it done.
It's like, well, you made this easy.
Yeah, like they're like done.
Activates VPN. Be like, our server ain't in France. What do you mean?
Yeah, so I said their farms were in France, and I said that was it. I mean, that was the big mistake on their part, was they put it in France.
push. There we go. Wait, where am I? Okay, I'm right here. I'm right here. All right. Let me get ready for the horde. Yup. I've played Left 4 Dead a few times.
Well, I'm like going through my inventory. Completely forgot that I was playing with other people. Like they've ran off to the next part of the level. And I was just sitting doing my own thing. Boom. Oh, killed it. Aha. Run ahead. Yeah, like I said it was so I said since they didn't host it in Russia, they hosted in
France.
In France, it was just like, oh well, we'll just sue them.
Yeah, they're like
Sent some cease and desists and called it good.
Yeah. Hosting in France, you might as well have been in America.
Yeah, it was.
You're well within jurisdiction.
Yeah, so I said when they didn't host in Russia, that was kind of the end of the server.
Yeah.
And that was kind
and
of.
I know a lot of people were pissed about that.
Oh yeah, because like Blizzard just kept fucking us real hard because they pretty much the problem is with Shadowlands is you can like buy cosmetics and you can just buy level 60. Like, oh, you want to be max rank? I got you. It's kind of like in Destiny when they had silver. Remember silver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have silver.
I do too. But like I could just like literally just I want or not silver I could just like buy a spark of light and become max level. I could become level 40.
Yeah, I think the big difference with that is that it was more of like a what's this? It applies to people with firewalls, IP set block. Okay, that's not my problem. Yeah, but I think the big thing about that is that like in terms of Destiny, like something that's weird about the game is that like overall, I would say the base level of the game is kind of worthless, right?
See, like I enjoyed like maxing up to 40 and just seeing how high your light level could go.
Yeah.
But like the thing is like your level was just for equipment.
Yeah, like pretty much like once you reach level 35, you could put on whatever piece of armor or gear you wanted as long as it was within your class. But prior to that, like it's hardly a limiting factor, right?
Yeah.
90% of the limiting factor in Destiny in terms of XP grind is what gear you currently have and how much the game is willing to give you due to that, right?
I just got an Xbox achievement.
What's that?
For breeding cows. Because Luke, I guess, is playing the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So. Hey, Captain.
I have softly myself. That's pretty great. I gotta quit Left 4 Dead. Oh, it's only been 14 hours and now I'm starting to get tired.
Wimp. What a wimp.
Weak shit. You won't play a horror game, no balls.
No, I have
Still find it funny how The Forest is a horror game.
The Forest? Yeah, it is kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, there's a few times in the game where it's scary. Like, yeah, you go into a cave and then you're attacked by, dismembered and horribly, like, mutilated fetuses. But, that's one part of the game. Trying to remember. Sons of the Forest. Yeah, they're making a sequel to the game.
Sons?
Yeah, Sons of the Forest.
Okay.
So the game got delayed. It was supposed to come out this year. It looks like it's coming out 2022. Holy
What a
cow.
wimp.
You know when The Forest got released?
When?
2014.
Time flies, man. Time flies.
GTA 5 was released 2013.
Yeah, I knew that. Because I always go like, why
Like
haven't they're
literally
just
a
like,
year before.
like why is
Fortnite was 2017. Grand Theft Auto 5 was 2008. San Andreas was 2004. Whoa, that's hold on.
how about San
So
Andreas?
yeah, San Andreas was 2004. Literally a 4-year difference made that different of a game. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like
Well,
you
I
look
said,
at the two games,
oh yeah.
they look like they're like 10 years apart.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, Gavin. It's like we're getting into diminishing returns on visuals. You look at a game from 2021 and you look at a game from 2017, they don't really look that different.
Yeah.
You look at a game from 2016 and 2021, they really don't look that different.
Yeah. A lot of it now is just art styles, so like the different art styles of the game is
It's
going to
all
be
more
what's
about coloring. Yeah, coloring and shading. Like that
yeah,
that is
it's
kind
all
of where
about
we're at.
it's all about making your game look different. Now, if you're going to make your game look as realistic as possible, then the Frostbite engine or Unreal Engine 5 is pretty much where it's at right now. You know, like you just take photos of shit and wrap it around the thing. Like you really can't beat that.
Yeah,
I mean, there probably is better technology. But
I'd be shocked if there wasn't, but like it doesn't seem like it's still kind of the peak.
you know, like it's one thing whenever you look at someone and you're like, I can see their pores. Like,
Yeah. Like but also like I said, we're just getting into that like point of diminishing returns.
a
Like
final chance to get GTFO at early access price. Oh, it looks like GTFO is getting ready to raise its price by 20%.
ooh.
Okay, so right now it's at its early access price. Right now it's $27.99. If I go in Humble Bundle though, and I look up GTFO, more expensive actually, because you can't get it at its early access price.
Yeah,
Do you have GTFO? I don't think you have GTFO.
Oh,
right?
I know I don't.
You should get it.
How much is it?
Right now it's $27.99.
What's the minimum specs on it?
The minimum spec requirements are a i5 2500 AMD equivalent, 8 GB of RAM, and a DX 2 gig.
Yeah, okay, so I'm lacking on GPU once again.
Here's the thing: we got W12 to run this thing on an i5's integrated graphics. You can run it.
I probably could. What is it?
GTFO is a cooperative survival horror game where your objective is to navigate through these underground labyrinth type things, right? And complete an objective given to you by the warden, which is kind of like this overseer of everything. You're a prisoner, and
Makes sense.
only way the only way that you can pay your debts is by performing these dangerous tasks in these rundowns. So you go down into a room, well, into a like big catacomb like area, and you have to navigate around as quickly as possible to be able to complete your objectives, as well as not get your shit pushed in by all these like horribly mutated humans because of experiments and shit like that that have gone down, and not die.
Well, I'm pretty good at the dying part. The not dying part now, that's a little out of my range, you know.
To give you an idea of how this game is, so far the game has 20,534 reviews at very positive, with 88% of the reviews. Its most recent reviews, 270, 86% of them are positive. It also has mod support.
Oh,
I don't think it has Steam Workshop support, but if you have the Thunderstorm mod manager, then you got it.
Stable Masters.
Oh yeah, here's another selling point. It's made by the people who made Payday 1.
Oh. I own Payday 2.
Yeah. So pretty much the granddaddies to those games. Yeah, that.
Not very good at Payday
uh,
2, but I do know like the basics.
yeah, me, Destroyer, SB, Purple Pumpkin, which can't remember what her name is to you.
Purple Pumpkin. I'm like
Is
Haley.
W12
I know that
also
one.
Ion. It's not Haley.
I know.
That person's stuck in the console wars.
Playing PS4. I wonder how she's doing.
Probably. I think she's on Xbox now.
Oh, join the better class.
Used to be a hardcore like PlayStation is a superior race now in terms of like the console wars have always been weird. There's always been like weird trading blows. Well, at least not when the Xbox first came out. No, Xbox and Xbox 360 were clear winners.
The original Xbox was great. The Xbox 360 was fantastic, and then
the Xbox One was
the Xbox One. It took a long time. It took a long time for it to fix itself. I mean, it was broken forever.
Yeah, the problem was that the PlayStation 4 came out. It wasn't the best when it first came out, but it took like 2 updates and it was perfect.
Yeah, well, look at the UI on the Xbox One. How many times has it changed? Oh, look.
How many times did it change on the 360? What do you expect?
Yeah, but the 360 changed like majorly 3 times. It went from the blades to the XMBX and then to the current one, right? The Xbox
How many
One.
times did a PlayStation UI ever change?
Yeah, that's just because Sony's. Sony.
They make UIs right the first time. Well, some people would argue against the PlayStation 3 UI, but I think it's fine. It's good.
I like the XMB. Always have though. I thought the XMB
anybody who
was
didn't
gorgeous.
Like it. I remember so many people didn't like it because it's like, why does it start on your friends list? And it's like, why not?
Like I think the XMB is just absolutely. I mean, I still think it's the best UI ever made. It is perfect. The XMB is, in my opinion. Now,
it's like, this is where your friends are. This is where your game stuff is. This is where
your
music
store
stuff is.
It's really
the music is storage.
Yeah,
it's right there in front of you.
It's a great filing system. That's
it's like, honestly, if like the Windows file selector was the same way, I wouldn't complain.
I don't disagree with you. If I hate that dog. Can you hear him barking?
No, I can't. I can't.
I can just hear. I'm like, I despise that dog.
The day before, I don't know if I sent you a link.
But like with the XMB, the reason I like it is it's a great file managing system. It just is.
So, the day before. All right, I'm gonna read it to you. So, The day before is an open-world MMO survival set in a deadly post-pandemic America, overran by flesh-hungry, infected, and survivors killing each other for food, weapons, and cars. You wake up alone in a world you no longer remember, setting out to find answers and the resources to survive. And the tags, it is a single-player MMO, online PvP, and online co-op.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to describe what this game kind of reminds me of, it would be DayZ and Tom Clancy's The Division.
I like Tom Clancy's The Division. That's a good game.
I didn't enjoy The Division. It was one of those games where it's like, at the same time, I've never really enjoyed Tom Clancy's storytelling. I have to admit, he's pretty good at it, right? Like, clearly he's done something right to have, like, as many games made about his stories as well as how many books he had released.
Tom Clancy?
And he's dead. But, is Tom Clancy dead? I thought he passed away. Tom Clancy. American novelist. Yeah, he died. 2013, October 1st.
Oh, God. Literally, it was her opening and shutting the door, and I didn't hear half of what you said. And then every time she'd open the door, I'd mute the mic, and then you'd go, "Ooh, it smells." Like, I know it smells. There's laundry right there. I'm aware. And then she'd shut the door, and then come back in, and then and never got her question out. It's very frustrating. Uh, give me my license.
51.
What?
So Tom Clancy made 51 books.
Yeah, I don't think he ever like stopped. I think he's just like that, just nonstop.
He died in 2013. His last 2 books were released in 2012. How much you want to bet that there's like a half-finished book that some kid of his or descendant is gonna squeeze at some point, like
Oh, yeah.
20 years later?
That's how it works.
He also made 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. He made 21 movies.
Well, he didn't make them. He just licensed his novels.
Yeah. Kind of made them. Kind of not, How many Tom Clancy games are there? There are 40.
40.
There are 40.
You know, I only know of one person that actually read his books. You know who that is, don't you?
Who's that?
Who do you think?
Gary?
No.
No?
Colton.
Bolton. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like
So, I'm looking at this right now, and there's some Tom Clancy games that don't really have Tom Clancy in the title, and that's where, like, the 40 games comes from. So, the Rainbow Six series was made in 1998 and continues to now, and there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 games just in that series. And people fucking love Rainbow Six Siege. Ghost Recon. 2001 to present, still being made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games in that series. Splinter Cell.
yeah, I know that
1,
one.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in that series. And they're also planning on bringing Splinter Cell back, so now it's no longer 2002 to 2013. There should be another one. I don't know if they're remastering the first one or if they're making a new one. I wouldn't be surprised if they just remastered the first.
The first one's, you know why the first one sold so well?
Software hacking the Xbox.
There you go. Very cultured.
End War 2008 to 2014. There are 2. There's Tom Clancy's End War and Tom Clancy's End War Online.
Inward.
Not Inward. not Tom Clancy's Inward. And then there's Hawks, HAWX. 2009 to 2010. There's 2 games in that series. So, and if I look at the publishers, there are Red Storm Entertainment, and then Ubisoft, Gameloft, Massive Entertainment, Ubisoft, Darkworks, Oxford Digital Enterprise, Microprose, Image Software, Beam Software, Clancy Interactive, Entertainment, Digital Entertainment,
You turned into a robot.
High Voltage Software, Next Level Games, and Capstone Software.
Seems about right.
And then publishers, Ubisoft's in there.
Really? Are you sure?
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you all the platforms that are supported for these games. The Amiga, the Apple II, the
Amiga.
Yeah.
The Amiga. The Commodore Amiga? The Amiga CD32.
The Amiga is a family personal computer introduced by
Commodore
in 1985.
It was very popular in Europe. It was not popular here. In fact, they couldn't release it here. You know why?
Probably jurisdiction.
No, taxes.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
They owe the U.S. government some taxes.
So the Amiga, the Apple II, the Apple is that the LLGS or the IIGS? I can't remember.
It's the two IGS. It's always Apple II.
2 IGS.
Yeah.
The Atari ST, the Commodore 64, DOS, ZX Spectrum, the MSX, the Commodore 64, the PC 98, the Astrid CPC, the Game Boy, the NES, the SNES, Microsoft Windows, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Mac OS, Game Boy Color, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation Network, mobile phones, Engage, Xbox,
Engage.
PlayStation Portable, Nintendo DS, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, iOS, Xperia Play, Android,
You know what the
Bada,
Xperia Play is, Gavin?
Wii, Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Wii U, BlackBerry Playbook, Palm Pre, Symbia, Stadia, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PlayStation 5.
You know what the Xperia is, Gavin?
Yeah, I remember it.
It's the PlayStation
Was
phone.
PlayStation phone. It's the Xperia Play is a smartphone with elements of handheld game console produced by Sony Ericsson, with the market share for dedicated handheld game consoles diminishing in 2010s due to rapid expansion of smartphones with cheap downloadable games.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally just had fucking PlayStation on it.
Yeah, it played like some PS1 games through like streaming. So pretty much you'd like download them from your service provider, which worked well in 2010 when you had to pay $800 for like a gigabyte of data.
Loved it.
Like,
Nowadays, you spend like $20 and you get infinite data.
yeah. Hey, man, just
But always read the fine print.
yeah. So
You know, like if you go to Sprint and you spend like 20 gigabytes of data, suddenly you're gonna have like a third of the speed that you had before, and now you can't even run 480p YouTube.
you know what I love about like or like
Wait, don't
Sony.
get.
You know what my favorite thing about Sony is, Gavin?
What's that?
You know what my favorite thing about Sony is?
What's that?
It's that like when they make a product, they make a nice, good product, right? They make a good product, and if it fails initially, they just drop it completely. It's
Google's
like, well,
pretty good about that too.
they're just like, what?
Google's pretty good about that too.
Yeah. Sony's been doing it for years, though. Like, something doesn't work immediately, fuck it, drop it. PS Vita,
Kill it.
dropped it.
Instead
of, like, trying to adapt, we're just dropping that shit real quick.
They just sit there and it was like, damn, this PlayStation, this DS thing's kind of working pretty good for Nintendo.
No, they're like, well, they had the PSP.
Anyway, I'm giving up.
That PSP went real well. I always forget the PSP sold like 80 million units. Which messes with me. Like, because I go through in the back of my head and I go like this. I'm like, okay. The Vita, or like the PSP. I'm like, who had a PSP? Everybody had a PSP. But I just, in my mind, I'm like, oh, no. Compared to the DS, people went to the store for milk and got like 28 DSs. Like, I still have one.
Like, the thing that I find funny about
Check
the
your
DS,
couch
like,
cushions. You might have one too.
Yeah.
Like,
But the thing that I find funny about the DS, like, it was one of those things where it's like they weren't like super cheap, you know, especially for the time that they came out. Right? Like,
$120, I think.
like
What?
especially, like,
Hold on, Gavin.
Like back then,
You just had like a
Yeah.
stroke for a second. What'd you say?
they're not like super expensive. Like they're not super expensive, especially in today's standards. But back then, that was a little pricey. But the fact that like literally everybody had one.
You know, like
It's
everybody.
kind of like a testament to how good it was.
Well, it's also like, oh, you want a Game Boy? Got you. Because they had a Game Boy Advance. So even if you didn't want any DS games, boom. Then I'm good. Like you didn't have to worry because like it could play all your Game Boy Advance games, which was massively popular. It had a backlight.
Genie?
I like how Nintendo was smart when they released it. They're like, listen, this isn't replacing the Game Boy Advance. This is going to be our third pillar. What? Yeah, we made this new console that can actually play 3D games. It's completely new, a lot more powerful than their previous handheld, but it's not going to replace the Game Boy Advance. So don't worry, guys. but it does play Game Boy Advance games and can be played in the dark. But
That's
it's
that's
not replacing
Nintendo's
them.
strategy. That's Nintendo's strategy. They intentionally make consoles that underperform in one major regard, but hope to God that everybody's able to see through it. And then they release their next console, which is backwards compatible, which is a big selling point, and then they fix that problem. And
Yeah,
then they make a new console. Like an actually new console.
yeah, like the Switch. Like if we're looking
Just
like
wait, then
Nintendo's
then
most
they
important consoles are like NES, Super Nintendo, right? Nintendo Entertainment
all
System,
of the DS,
Super
with the
Nintendo.
exception of the 2DS XL.
No, I'm saying like most important. I'm gonna say like I put the Switch in the top 3 or 4. Like I
I put
mean,
the Game and Watch in first place.
it does did invent the D-pad, but like the NES like brought back the gaming, like brought back all like yeah, there was no like the game market crashed. It was done because Atari did Atari things. You
The
know.
Game and Watch is the whole reason why Nintendo became a gaming company.
Yeah, and that's all from the father of the Game Boy himself. You know, the Game Boy is very important, but it's also like terribly difficult to play. Like the Game Boy will like makes your eyes bleed.
Yeah. Depends on how weak in beta male you are, but yeah.
Yeah, I played on the green brick itself. Ooh, I'm gonna get. Hey man, all right. Here's the plan. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Boom. Yeah, I like how the game strategy. I'm like, I'm gonna punch this guy in the face, pretend like I knock him out. So like you open the gate and I can murder you. Boom. Thanks for the loot. Hit what lever? Oh, I'm stupid. I'm like, oh yeah. It's 4:30. Woo.
436. Oh,
Time flies, mate. Time flies.
actually 1636. You gotta appeal to military
Military
service
time?
people, I guess.
I don't know. I never got military time. Like I know what I'm supposed to have, but in the back of my head, I'm like, that's not right. Like,
Yeah.
nah. Thanks for the copper. Hey man, don't shoot me. Let me just stab you in the back a couple times. Yeah, like now he's holding what appears to be. Oh, I got like he's just got a gun. We're at close range. He doesn't like pull out a knife or anything like that. He's just like, yeah, I'm actually just gonna use this gun over and over again. Hey, look, I just got some cocaine. No, but like Gavin.
That,
Huh?
is that?
I like how everyone's. Is my voice cutting out on your end, or is it just you?
No, I'm just, I don't think my voice is cutting out. I just stopped talking.
No, like no, like you'll when you first start talking again, Gavin, you sound like a robot.
Well, that's because of Discord. That's a Discord issue.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things that just kind of solves itself after a while.
Yeah, like if you keep talking, it will solve itself, or well,
Yeah.
that doesn't work to go down. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
What?
So I'm watching one of the trailers for Fallen Aces, right? Because I was, I like this game now. and I just watched this dude take out a knife. Right? You know how I realized that in the game you can throw or hit somebody in the nuts and they react, right?
Yeah, that was the whole reason you started. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a knife that comes in the full version of the game that's getting released at some point, soon, trademark. Um, and the guy went up to a person and used the knife and slit their throat, and it reacted, and I was like, oh, I wasn't ready for that.
Like the violence, the
Violence,
savagery.
great. Like the thing that I find weird about violence is that there's like different degrees of violence. Like there comes a point where like there's no violence at all. There's some violence. There's like the right amount of violence for it to be shocking to a degree, and then there's like
Yeah.
doom.
Yeah, there's like
Like so much violence to where it's like, yeah, this is normal.
yeah, okay, there's like hostile. Okay. Jaw or jaw. I said jaw instead of saw. Saw, right? Shocking violence. Hostile, terrifying violence. You know, like that just like no. Do you know what hostile is, Gavin?
Sounds familiar. Can't remember.
It's pretty much all these people out on an island, and pretty much what happens is they get put on like by this psychopath that enjoys torturing them, and he just slowly cuts them apart, cuts their skin off, use a chainsaw, all that stuff.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, really, really grotesque. It was a film made for shock value, kind of like Human Centipede, same thing. Where it wasn't really designed to be. I don't know, it wasn't designed for actual. How can I say it? For actual entertainment. It was just made to make you think a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, a bunch of rats. What you looking up? More trailers, I'm guessing.
There's that one game. It got sued because of its name.
Oh, those are always
Ion.
my favorite type of games.
So, Ion Fury. So, Ion Fury is a game that is actually made in the build engine, right?
Okay.
Like Duke Nukem and stuff like that. It's a modern game made in the build engine. It was released August 15, 2019. It was published by 3D Realms, made by Voidpoint LLC. It's called Ion Fury because its original name was Ion Maiden.
Iron Maiden, like the band.
Yeah. Not Iron Maiden, Ion.
Sounds like the band.
Yep, that's the problem. So they got sued, or were threatened to be sued unless they changed their name. So they changed it to Ion Fury, and all is well.
I mean, are you surprised? Because I instantly go, oh, Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that was kind of like the whole point. I think it was like a thing to where it was like so close to the point to where people were just like kind of mooching off of the publicity.